It's a custom shirt.
Hey guys, it is late night with Connell and friends. I use that term loosely because we don't all share super secret coder rings yet, but give it time. Cherry's here, and we got Shadow. I'm hoping that 28 millimeter will hop in and grace us with his presence, and we'll talk about some gaming and whatever else has been going on this week outside of the whole dumpster fire that is our politics right now. I don't want to go
Yeah,
anywhere near that.
nor
Other
do
than
I. I'm
that,
going to put on my googly eyes for a second.
everything
Um,
else is allowed on the table if that works for you, gentlemen.
That is the best setup, Shadow.
Hold on. I told you my wife got me a microscope from her work. I mean, a professional. It's probably like $1,000 or more microscope because she works on government stuff, and it's got a light up bed, the whole thing. And James L sent me like probably close to 115 millimeter miniatures, but all like D&D and historicals, and for me and my son. And I'm just like, what am I going to do? And then she goes, oh, I got this from work. They're going to throw it out. And I'm like, of course they were,
What?
government, Yeah.
Yeah.
And it works perfect. We got a new one, government contract, blah, 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 whatever. I'm like, yeah, I will take that. And I checked it out, put the 15 millimeter miniature under there. I'm like, okay, now I just got to figure out how to train myself to use the brush, without being able to see what I'm doing, except in the microscope. And that, I mean, these magnify like 2 or 3 times, but the microscope, I mean, I could see the DNA from the fingerprints on it if I needed to. So
I'm not telling you should go put on more coffee and hang out with, us, but I will be that not drug dealer, but that dealer of bad decision making tonight, and say, come be be one with us, chant going on there.
one of us. I
There we
still
go.
got
That's
it.
good. Yeah, well, I'm old, but I'm not as old as Shadow.
Hey! Now I'm not as old as Sean or so, but I'm
Hey,
older than DM James, and I'm older than just about everybody. Here I'm 55, so I'm getting up there, but I'm still young at heart. I'm still playing freaking goofy games with a bunch of goofy people, so I can't be that old, you know.
Rick and I have you beat, but yeah, Shauner's older.
And if I listen to all the catfish that I hear from on Facebook, age is just a number.
All the catfishing, huh? Yeah, that's what I hear. It's just a number.
Yeah, sure it
let's
is.
see if I could bait a particular hook and get good old DM James to hop in on with us.
Is he in the chat?
Up. He's up.
No, but he was on my Discord, and I figured
He's always up. Who are you kidding? Unless the sun's out, he's always up. I think he's
He's
secretly a
on Discord.
vampire.
all right.
Who's secretly a vampire?
I think DM James with the way he sleeps, in his
I don't
old
know.
goth days.
I don't.
Of all the people out there, he would be the last guy I would actually, think was. I'm not saying he wasn't really a
Wait,
goth, but he liked a lot of that kind of music and stuff, Or maybe I'm telling it wrong, and he'll come over here and correct me.
No, he does like the old stuff. So do I. So,
Hey,
but I'm surprised
I did
James.
it enough.
I'm surprised James,
I
being
did.
such an old retired guy, just stays up so late. I don't know why he doesn't have old man hours.
Man,
Because
know-
he's retired. He knows the secret. The secret is when you're retired and you're married, you stay up as late as you can while the wife goes off to work, and then you sleep all day so that you can repeat.
You don't have to
You know,
talk
'cause-
to her ever.
hey Nathan,
Well, no, I mean,
there's a link in the chat if you scroll up. If you want to, you're more than welcome to hop on in. I don't know.
Oh,
exactly
Jesus,
your
no
numbers,
way.
but you were more
No
than
way. We
welcome
were just
to
talking
come in
about
house.
you. I normally do a Saturday shadow chat, for 6 hours or whatever. But this week we're gonna just do a couple hours and then go hang out with Nathan for an after party, and where it'll get really crazy, because want to help him out and show him the ropes and get his friends involved, and then we'll be even more people, and eventually we'll have enough people we can take over the world.
He's got to go be a responsible adult and he has to work. So,
Oh, dude. Sorry, man. Well, you can hang out and listen. Oh, and Rick just bails. Oh, Nathan's not showing up. I'm out of here.
Rick
See,
said he'd be
Nathan?
for a couple seconds.
Oh, okay. We didn't even let him talk. Come on back, man. Sorry, I'm a blabbermouth.
Sorry about that. I fell
And he's
down.
back.
I fell down.
We thought
I
you left.
picked it up.
We thought you left because Nathan wasn't going to show up.
Oh. Yeah,
So
I was
you
going to
get-
join him on the other side. Yeah.
God, I love those guitars, man.
Yep. Yep. If I had an ounce of talent, other than playing the bass, which you could play with one hand, Spinal Tap reference.
He's got a bass.
I would pick. I'd pick it up. 'Cause I want to get some intro music. My son's best friend is a guitarist. He's really good for his age. He's like 16, and he's really good. And I said, hey, you write me like a 1 minute intro and a 1 minute outro. I'll give you $50. And
Well, I won't be copy a strike for that.
I can play.
why'd you stop, man? We listen all night, man. That's fantastic.
I got a few there. No, you won't get a copy strike.
Yeah. It's like, woo, live music. Wait, no, I will not get copy striked.
It's my music, damn it. Well, it's his music, and he's given us obviously permission because he's performing it without a gun to his head. I'll let him get back.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Maybe maybe I should have a little theme, whatever, to my show.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta find some intro music, but there's a couple of my songs that are my favorite songs, and I turned this friend of my son's on to them, hoping that he could kind of get the same sound to him, because if it doesn't have electric guitars in it, I don't want to listen to it. He had to move, so maybe one of these days he'll remember, oh yeah, I need $50. I'll just whip up something, 1 minute here, 1 minute intro, 1 minute outro, and then I'll be able to start the shows with that. Kind of class up the show a little, because if you watch us from the beginning, you've seen, we started out at the dinner table, doing this for a year plus, and now we've got a full room dedicated to it. So next year we got to do something else, and a little bit more, until we're, professional like.
No, don't say that. That's
Heavy on the
word.
Heavy on the like.
Yeah.
Shadow,
yeah.
I posted the link for the shirt up in the private chat.
I
Cool.
saw that. I can click on that.
Let's see if I can do this without kicking myself off.
I'm not holding my breath. So what has everybody been up to today? I know what Shadow's been up to. What about you, fine gentlemen?
Today, besides
Yeah.
watching everybody live stream and gaming for most of the day, playing MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries modded.
Ooh,
That's all I've been doing. Oh, I've got an obscene amount of time in that game, hundreds of hours. I know, shake your head.
Didn't realize you played it. Yeah, we play that one too. Mercenaries, Mech Warrior.
See, I used to play a game called Mercenaries, but there was no mechs. You were just mercenaries, and this was for the 360. or was it Mercs? It was somewhere a variation of that.
Well, there was a Mech Warrior game for the Xbox, I think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
but this
this-
was like no mechs. You're just a dirty looking
No.
Viking, collecting money.
That's boring. We
No.
want giant stompy robots.
This is Giant Stompy Robots, and I've modded it, and I can play from 3015 all the way up to 3125, whatever the time era that is.
So you're not one of those purists.
Oh no! I've got all the mods. I got all the mechs come into line, all the weapons upgrades come into line, and basically you're building your mechs and fighting for 100 years.
Yeah, it's crazy what you can do. Are you on the
It's pretty
Steam version or are you on the
Yeah,
Epic?
I'm on the Steam version.
We're on the Epic. I play once in a while with Dwayne. You haven't met Dwayne, but yeah, we play.
Is
that.
it a key? It's keyboard, right? Not some sort of controller.
Right.
Okay.
I guess if you had a keyboard, I think you can play pretty much everything on Steam with a.
I mean, you can get attachments
Yes,
for
or
your
an
computer
Xbox
to
controller.
use controllers. I've seen them before.
I've got
My son does.
I've got this dude right here. It's an Xbox controller.
That's weird. I've never
Or
seen that one.
it's a Steam controller actually. Is what it is. I lied.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Same layout as the Xbox.
You haven't
though.
driven
Yeah.
until you had a Momo.
Yeah. There you go.
Drive your
I
Mech
remember
with
back
that.
in the day when I remember the old mech controllers that were like this freaking big with all the bells and whistles back in the day. And I don't know if they had one here, but I know they had one in Chicago, didn't they? Mech
Yeah.
Warrior Studio, where you go in like laser tag. That must have been this. Oh my God, that must have been like a wet dream.
I
Just
think Mech Warriors 5 now it's set up for VR headsets too, so you can actually put on your VR headset,
That's
look around,
crazy.
and you're in the cockpit. So
oh wow.
I was watching a program. It wasn't exactly TED Talk, but it had the same concept as TED Talks. You guys know what TED Talks are, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
Shadow, you do? I don't know if that's your bag though.
TikTok, right?
If you have
No,
a wife, you know
TED
what
Talk.
TikTok is.
Oh, TED
TED
Talk. Oh,
Talk.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I've done that too. A
He knows
lot of
what
those
TikTok
are
is also.
right. A lot of the TED Talks kind of irk me though. They're pretty just not jiving with my ideology. Let's put it that way. I don't want to be a
lot of
robot.
different ones. There's a lot of
Yeah,
different
I
ones.
know. I know, but every time I see it, it's transhumanism. This and like nope. 65 and done. If I make it that far, cool, bonus. If I have to make it a little longer, more bonus. But
This one wasn't. This one was a TED Talk, but this guy was talking, but it was under the same because there was other experts, in their fields also talking on this program. But anyways, his going theory is with the next 20 to 30 years. Okay, somebody in my chat. I think it's a bot, or I don't know what to do with that. I'll deal with that later. Anyways, next 10 to 20 years, all schooling will be done at home with a VR headset. It was his that he's like that will be the next big move.
You never know. It could
Yeah, well-
happen.
well, what's to prevent your kid from getting full on MK Ultra at that point?
I don't think the teacher unions are going to go for that too much.
I don't know. Depends on what state you are. Some of those teacher unions don't really exist anymore.
Well, when you think about it, if you're a teacher, that gives you less. You're not at arm's length with the kids. You're not getting spitballed all the time, right? And you're avoiding all that confrontation.
You mean shot? You mean shot? Literally shot, not spitballs.
Yeah,
You don't have to take their sass. You just turn them off.
that's
and,
right. You just mute them.
No,
Or
what
better
they
yet,
do.
you can hit that button that gives them electrical shock.
I was not ready to
Yeah.
go there. I was like, what the?
Shadow, I thought you didn't like those gritty RPGs.
Yeah.
That's not an RPG.
If
That's
Boyd's
something else.
watching mine, he doesn't want to get traumatized.
Too late, man. I went to the public school system.
I went from a private boarding school to a public school for high school. That was a very much culture shock. Two different worlds. I prefer public school over the private one just because people are a little bit more
Not an
real.
arm and a leg.
What?
It's not an arm and a leg.
Oh, financially, it wasn't a problem. My grandparents could cover it. It was just the kids are different. I mean, you're talking about two different sets of personalities between public and private. And I've never been couth enough to be private. So my theory of saying hello is more or less this. So public was for me.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got lucky. My son, for his first 9 years, went to a really good public school. It was a dual immersion school where they spoke Spanish half the day and English the other half. And he did really, really good. I don't think there was an entire fight in the school the first 9 years he went to school, but now he's going to a real high school. And I've seen the kids that go to his school, and yeah. And then once he starts wearing his uniform for JROTC, he's going to get pushed into that one category. So we'll see how that works out for him.
I get my I say this jokingly now because it's only taken me almost 10 years, 20 years to get over it. Oh, God. No. I don't want. Ooh. Anyways, I got my nose broke when 9/11 happened because the guy thought I was Muslim because I'm dark skinned. I didn't even have a beard. This was high school. I mean, I could grow a beard. That wasn't a problem. But, with high school, I'd be
dark
clean.
skin compared to what?
What?
Compared to what?
Dark skin
what
compared to
more
everybody else.
Where did you go to school?
Compared to the kid that never been any place.
What
Peoria,
was this, Kansas?
Illinois. I was legitimately the second darkest kid at that school, skin tone. Then, what was that the TV show? Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. My mom got there, so she sent me, so I got sent from that school to another school, which I went from being one of the darkest kids in my high school to being one of the whitest kids in my high school. I'm like, I need to point myself out my school picture. How? I am the white dinghy in the sea of black. And, completely between private and those two scenarios, it was a trip. It was absolutely trip. I'm glad schools have, I've heard in some ways schools have definitely calmed down in certain areas.
Yeah, I kind of think so. There's a lot of that no tolerance. But at the same time, they don't want to lose a single kid because they make so much money. It's like $800 a day per kid per day they're in school for their budget.
Yeah. Especially if they test well.
Like $800? Can I go to school and get paid $800? How does he say it? Steve Buscemi. Hello, fellow teenager, whatever, that
Hello,
meme.
fellow teens.
Yeah. I mean, I went to his school, and there was a kid with a beard like Connell. I mean, just like, what? Seriously? Oh my God, your parents need to teach you to shave. You're not allowed to be like that till you've earned it. I mean, you probably can't help it. He's probably got one of those wolf boy diseases or something, but damn, just fucking shave that shit.
I don't know. I had a full beard. I had more or less a full beard by age 13, and
I was shaving daily at 12. I was shaving daily at 12 because I didn't want a full beard. Then people put me to work. I was freaking 12, 13. I just want to go home and run home and watch my cartoons until dinner time.
Well, no one told me how expensive razor was until you have to go out and buy your own.
I get them at the dollar store. 10 for a buck.
Those don't. Those are just garbage.
They work for me.
I never use a razor. I just you take the trimmer and bring it down to stubble.
That's what I do.
That's what I do
Because
anyway.
I have like the hairs. I got like so many follicles in each one of my pores that it's just it sometimes I'll get the ingrown and then they end up bubbling up, and I can't stand that. So, and I got to look good at work, so I just take it down or I grow it right out. So
there was a couple times where it's like around Christmas or I had some extra cash because of work, and there's a place here locally where it's a traditional barber shop. So you go in there, they do the whole hot towel, straight, with the cutthroat razor, which I'm not being snarky. That's actually the name of what the razors are called. And, he does his thing, like $40, and you go home with a cigar. I mean, that was just the cigar, just kind of his thing, and a good quality cigar. So I'm like, I'm not going to say no. And so, so about $40, I get a haircut and a good clean shaved, not clean shaved, but, good.
See, here in Cali, I won't let them touch me. Unless they're Korean, I'm not going.
Why Korean?
Because I know they're real women.
I won't go to a woman barber either, so it's hard to find an old dude still doing that stuff.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind the titties rubbing up against me while they're while they're doing their job.
They do rub up.
The place I used to go, mind you, obviously I haven't gone in 2 years, but the place I used to go, they were really nice, and just they enjoyed their work, and I'm just sitting there like So everybody had a good time, and they got a good tip, but then COVID happened, and I'm like, yeah, I'm growing it out. Hell, we just actually last night, I think it was, we put batteries in most of our clocks, because when COVID started, I'm like, we're not changing the batteries until COVID goes away. So,
no, I'm.
So I now know what time it is. I have to look at my tablet.
I don't live on a clock, but I'm busy enough where I need a clock. I have to pay attention to what time it is.
No, I get up at about 6:30, 7 o'clock to get my son off to school, and then now he's not coming home till 4 o'clock. I'm like, you know what? I can run a game while he's at school now.
I was thinking taking a nap, but yeah, that works too.
Oh yeah, that's usually where it ends. I'll watch Steven Crowder in the morning and start reading one of my books that I'm supposed to be reading for the one of my jobs I'm working on. I'm helping this game company out and reading their books, and after maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, I'm snoring. But GM Fritz has been bugging me for the past couple of days when I go on his show to watch him paint. He wants me to run a Star Frontiers game, and I'm like, let's do Traveler instead. I'm like, no, man, I want to play Star Frontiers. I'm like, they don't have gravity in Star Frontiers, right?
No, it wouldn't take much to convince him a Traveler game. He's into that.
I want to, part of these games for me is the nostalgia in a big way, and if that's his thing, with as nice as he is, and to other people and myself especially, if I can run him through a really good Star Frontiers game, because I played Star Frontiers for like 2 years. I enjoyed the hell out of it. I'm trying to get a copy of Zebulon's, but I keep forgetting to order it from drive-thru, and once I get that, I'll have, I think, everything I'll need kind of, numerically for, charts and crap. I'm still going to make everything up and not use a module and come up with something cool that he and a couple other people will enjoy. And we'll do something, Buck Rogers-ish. That's how I picture that game, is is Buck Rogers or Flash Gordon, kind of sci-fi, maybe a little 2001 mixed in.
It reminds me. It reminds me of all the hokey '60s and '50s sci-fi movies more than anything else.
I can see that. I see it. If I ran something like that with a group of buddies, I see less.
Flash,
right? Flash Gordon and more Futurama.
Yeah, you definitely could do that. You definitely get that vibe from it. It's definitely that kind of retro sci-fi with every ray gun's got the little rings at the end. It's definitely got that kind of vibe to it, except the spaceship.
There's a lot of Holloway art in there. Yeah, and he did a lot of the stuff for Paranoia and stuff like that. So,
oh wow,
it's kind of the same sort of vibe.
It's weird because there's a dichotomy going on between the art and the game itself. The original game, all the ships, their decks are stacked because there's no anti-grav in it. But you got the Holloway art in there, and they're all like Star Wars looking ships flying around. Right.
Or Buck Rogers, the TV show, the newer one, not the old stuff. Yeah, it's very, it was like, wait a minute, because that's what threw me when I was looking at the maps and stuff. I'm like, I know this is the other way, but I could have swore I just saw on the cover and etc. Everything looks a little bit more streamlined and less, Twilight Zone meets Flash Gordon kind of science fiction, which, I can throw some Twilight Zone in there too.
Oh, I know a few of my players wouldn't mind the concept of death by snoo. How did my character die? Well,
yeah, I try to leave that stuff out to a fade to black scene, and that's that.
Oh, it would be great. No. I won't go into great detail. You go and ... and next thing you know, the lights go down as you see a She-Hulk sized woman coming to you, looking at you softly in the eyes as you rip up your character sheet and make me a new one because your pelvis is now broke and
powderized. Yeah, I'm thinking something like the Princess Bride in space.
Inconceivable.
Yeah, I like that idea actually. I like that idea.
So, Jerry, I saw you were watched Gatekeepers today. What did you think of the show?
Oh, Jade's show? It was pretty great, actually. Yeah. About the apocalypse? How do you use it in the game? How do you have apocalypses? Yeah.
I'll have to check that out and watch it.
It went better than I expected, and I'm glad we got it all in one shot because I didn't want to stretch it out. And, I think it's really better for sci-fi than fantasy overall. It
just depends on who's running it. I mean, I'm not trying to be.
For me, when I think of sci-fi, I don't think of hit points and leveling up. Because neither Star Frontiers nor Traveler, nor Gamma World kind of, but it's not really the same thing. It's the Cataclysm's already come and gone. But I don't think hit points and leveling up. I think here's your character. You're not going to change. This is it for life. Maybe some numbers will change a little, but usually not in your favor. Whereas when I think of fantasy, I think of leveling up, and all that. And if a cataclysm hits you at the wrong, if like 1st through 10th level, you're just dead. You get hit with a meteor, a tidal wave, a volcano, an earthquake. The damage is just, you're dead.
I completely agree with you on tidal wave, but I'll still make the argument about the volcano. I'll still make the argument of volcano because lava actually does move slow in real life.
Oh yeah, remember when that stuff was going on in Hawaii? They were like walking next to it, just like, yeah, it's pretty toasty, but it'll be about like 18 hours till it gets to my house. You're muted, Terry.
Oh, broken? Is it working?
Not. It's Chinese.
Hey, wait a minute. But they are broken. Haven't you seen their banks surrounded by tanks?
I've seen
They're
their
pretty
banks.
broke.
I've seen their empty cities. I've seen their crappy military that can't do anything. Yeah, yeah.
It
They're
giggles.
pretty broke.
Never mind. I see. I was about ready to break my own rule. So yeah, never mind. At least for tonight.
Yeah,
I'm behaving.
that just blew me away. I'm like, wait a minute. So the parking lot of all the banks are now Tiananmen Square?
Yeah, pretty much. They just went ahead and changed the codes on their devices so that they read red. So they're not allowed to go out. So it's saying that they're COVID positive, so that they can't go out and to their banks and get out money. It's crazy. And when you think about it, that's what they want to do with us here. Is with the Arrive Can app that they have here and stuff like that. That's
Tell you
I
nuts.
talked
where
about
to
that
go,
earlier. A
when
lot
to
of people are
go.
not.
Yeah, what to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, at least when that happens, we'll have StreamYards. We can keep in touch and still play games. If we're not out riding in the streets and throwing into cattle cars, we can still have some good games.
Come back in here with your bat strapped to your back and everything. Oh, that was a good riot today. Oh, let's get some RPGing done. Right. Ready, guys?
Let me just wash off the blood.
Actually, one of my neighbors, not one of my neighbors, but one of my ex-wife's neighbors has an ash tree that needs their branches pruned, right? I'm like, I'll come over here and, I'll do it. He's like, really? For how much? I'm like, I'll do the whole thing for like $300. The whole tree. Not a big deal. He's like, okay. I'm like, well, after I'm done, I get to take whatever branches I want with me. He's like, okay, why? I can make arrow shafts out of ash tree branches.
I wouldn't tell him that. I'd say drumsticks.
Oh, he doesn't need to know. I'm just telling you guys what my plan is.
Yeah, I'm actually going to interview the guy who makes those bats sometime in the near future. But we had some cardboard boxes from something, and I told my son to break them down. He says, "Can I go get the bat?" I'm like, "What?" Because when we came home with them, we tested them out with some cardboard boxes to see how they cut through cardboard boxes. Not saying just let the guy have a little fun. Made a little bit of a mess, but the boxes were already full of crossbow holes. So he's like, can I? Yeah, of course. Just be careful. Choke up and just let it rip. And so then we had more boxes from something else. He's like, can I break them down, Dad? I'm like, yeah, I think. He wanted to come up here and grab my saw bat, and I'm just like, oh my god,
That'll break them down.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. And they're starting to make smaller ones. And I gotta send you that picture, Connell. One of them the guy made a bat, made it look like a giant dwarven hammer with literally like a Thor hammerhead at the very end of the bat. Solid block of wood, the straps, the bolts, the rivets or whatever, and the runes in it and everything. I'm like, oh, I know someone who's going to want one of those.
I would like me a good Warhammer.
Yeah, but at the end of a baseball bat. So you
I'm
got a
fine
good
with that.
grip. Like, yep, that's going to be the next one I get. And I'm not even a dwarf fan.
I like me a good baseball bat.
They're pretty solid. They're everything about the things he makes. Pretty sweet. I mean, you're going to pay a little over $100 for it, and if you're going to pay for shipping, you're going to be looking at probably 150, maybe 175. But when you open it up and your wife or girlfriend sees it, trust me, there will be no more back talk. What kind of sandwich do you want, and where do you want it?
I kind of like being single, sort of.
Stack your green and don't look, and then you will find Mrs. Right. Correct, guys? You don't look, you find. You look, you don't find, or you find crap.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, I was quite single all throughout my. Well, I was very hedonistic as well too, because being in a band and everything else. I didn't care. I was dating girls all the time, but with me and Karen, we knew each other for since 1991. And she was usually dating some guy. I was usually dating some girl, but we knew each other for a long time. About 97, when our band finally was kind of like, and I was like, enough of this band bullshit. I was just working, doing the tile setting and stuff. I said, hey, you seeing anybody? And, not seeing anybody. Let's go out, And so then we started going out with each other, and then it was 2 years of that, and then we decided, okay, let's get married. I want to have a couple kids anyways, and boom, it was crazy. Yeah.
You got kids?
Oh yeah, we have 3 kids.
Awesome.
Yeah, the oldest one is 32, and our youngest one is he's 19 now.
Geez.
Yeah.
Mine just turned 11 this year. Well, 11 going on 30, that is.
Aren't they all though?
I can't get too mad because she didn't. I know where that mouth, when she starts talking, I know where that came from. And unfortunately, I can't say it's my ex-wife because I'm listening to her as I'm just sitting back. She doesn't know I'm behind her or whatever. I'm just watching her, And some kid said something stupid, and I just heard her go off on him. And I'm like, okay, she inherited my mouth. And I'm like, Maggie, I'm so sorry. Let me teach you that there is a time and place.
How about you, Cherry? Any little ones?
Nope, no kids.
He's free.
Some would say he's the smarter one of all of us.
I don't know about being smart, but that's just the way it worked out.
Mhm.
Yeah, you're always worrying about them and stuff, and it's just like, why are you making this decision? Why? But there's
Not
nothing
married
you can
anymore.
do.
Have been married for a long time, so that worked out pretty well. I certainly save a lot more money and have a lot more peace of mind.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I got married later. So,
I have to say the same thing.
Yeah.
I definitely, that was definitely a smart move. Just I know too many people who jumped right into it. At various stages, mind you. I was the last one. Actually, I have one holdout friend, my friend Kevin, who never got married, and everybody else, for the most part, pretty early in their lives, and it almost never worked out for them. Yeah, pretty much everybody who married young regretted it, and everybody who married later, all that crazy crap is out of your system, and you don't have to worry about certain things, and they're usually pretty well established on both sides, men and women. They've got everything is stable, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
I got one friend. He's got 6.5 kids. One's not his, the 7th one, but he raised it. They never got married. They were never really together, except when she wanted to have another kid. Basically, I guess they're still not together, but now they're living together now. Finally, after he's paid off the child support on every single one of them. Just like they're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. They're going to kill him. They just moved in. They're trying to buy a house together. Now that all the kids are technically adults, and I'm like, but you have all the money. They're just going to wait and put something in your food, push you down the stairs, something like that, and then the house is theirs free and clear.
Makes sense to me.
You're so optimistic. You make a good GM there, Shadow.
You know what? Believe it or not, were you guys remember last night with Shauner and RPG Elite?
Right.
I'm actually gonna try. I'm actually gonna try to do that. I want to do the vacationing thing, where the games are. There'll be the usual, intrigue and combat, etc. But I want to do more of, like a lot of happy, things going on. Maybe you're at Mardi Gras and you're just partying it up, and you see some assassination, and you're the only ones who see it, and so you try to, chase down the assassin kind of thing or something like that, where it's, a lot happier, absolutely no grit. Everything is just, Teflon and just smooth, kind of like an 80s movie, maybe some goofy mistakes, but, not a lot of, blood and guts and screaming and crying, and see if I can't, make that kind of a thing instead of everybody's, constantly basically walking around like the Mummy because they've been bandaged up so much.
Yeah.
And it's, scarred and, physically and emotionally from first level on for their whole lives, and see if I can't bring like a little lighter mood to our games. Because, one of my all-time favorite movies, Bruce and Janet watched it, a movie called Real Men. Anybody ever seen it? With James Belushi and John Ritter? No, I was the only guy who saw the movie.
I might have seen it. I just can't remember it.
Well, it was a spy movie, and it was a comedy, but there was gun play and death and stuff, but it was a comedy, a comedy spy movie. If you can, not quite like Get Smart, because it's just a one-off, but I just want to bring a little bit lighter mood to at least some of the games I dungeon master, and see if that's still possible, or if everybody's been just conditioned into it's got to suck, and then it doesn't suck, and then it's got to suck more. Now,
did you ever see a movie which is kind of what you're bringing up, the a little bit of comedy in there as well? You ever see that movie? It was called I Come in Peace.
Oh yeah.
So
No.
It sounds very familiar. Wasn't it like a wrestler or somebody in it?
It had Dolph
Lundgren.
and
Yeah.
it had
okay.
that one guy. He's the FBI agent, but he was kind of that. He had that kind of edgy comedy bit with him. It was kind of an odd kind of comedy feel to him, but it worked.
But
really
even
well.
movie, even a movie like Red Heat would be something.
that too. That's kind of the same sort of thing. Yeah. So it was a good matchup between the two characters, and you kind of wish they had made more movies on that one because it was pretty good. But yeah,
I really like that movie, which is weird because there's two different versions of the ending of that movie. One where Arnold gives James Belushi his gun. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But then there's another one where they don't do that, and I'm like, that's like the best part. He gave him, his gun, because it's better, or whatever. I don't know that it is. I never fired one of those.
It might be where it was released.
Deep in my,
yeah.
In my little gun loving heart, when I saw that, I'm just like, oh, how sweet, in a little bit more macho way than that, obviously, but
No, I'm pretty sure that's the way it probably came out.
I meant that. I meant the movie was, when you watch it, you're like, oh man, that's fucking cool. I
know. I'm just giving you some help.
You saw it, right?
Which one was it called?
Red Heat with Arnold Schwarzenegger and James Belushi.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. I've seen most of his earlier movies. I think my favorite
Arnold movie to this day, believe it or not, is
True
anybody
Lies.
can guess?
Kindergarten Cop.
No.
Conan.
No.
Smaltatuma.
Total Recall.
Hopper.
Total Recall.
No. Twins.
Predator?
Twins.
Oh.
Twin.
Stubby Predator, get to the chopper.
Get
I
your
just
ass
really-
to Mars.
Get your ass to Mars.
Oh my god, I say that all the time. That's funny.
Spencer showed me the little clip where he's taking the thing out of his nose, and he's like, that was our COVID experience. COVID testing. Ah.
Where I live, there's this little patch of desert that hasn't been developed, because I live in the desert. But there's this little patch between like two different neighborhoods. And when my son was a little kid, his first movie experience was John Carter. And when he saw that area, he always equated it to Mars, from John Carter of Mars. And he and his mom and his grandmother would go for a walk, and like, where are you guys going? We're going to Mars, Dad. I'm like, cool. Get your ass to Mars, and so I would say that all the time. And now he has to travel through that area to get to his new high school, so I'll be like, how was Mars today? So I went around, because we get flat tires like freaking nobody's business here for some reason. Goat heads apparently just are attracted to tires out here.
Crazy.
No.
You would think they would make the tires now out of something other than, basically tinfoil.
Well, those goat heads are pretty rough, man.
Yeah, they actually are. They're
Let's
I'll
try to Kevlar
Google
tire.
what those are, because I mean, if it's what I think it is, we kind of have those. They get stuck to everything.
yeah, these hurt. These will draw blood.
Oh wow!
Yeah. They're like thorns, but like multi-pronged, but about
Yeah.
the size of a pea.
Sort of the ones I'm thinking about. Ugh.
And they will just go right through a tire, and I bought a brand new bike, and within a week of getting it with brand new tires, fully, tricked out, full air, the whole bit, within the first week, I ran over a piece of glass about this big. I mean, less than a centimeter, and it went right through it like that was its job. It's just like you're kidding me. I've had this bike for a week.
No, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
I think my favorite experience of I just had this for a couple days was when the PlayStation 3 came out. No, PlayStation 2, because I was still in high school. I just got out of high school. My mom accidentally dropped a glass of water onto my PlayStation, and it just shot it. That's like $400 or $500. I'm like, fuck. She's like, what's your language? I'm like, my counsel. She's like, well, we can get you another one. I'm like, you have $500?
Yeah, they're costly, man. Yeah. No, they're not getting easier to come by either.
No, I got a German friend. What is it? Can never pronounce his name, so I just call him George. But it's something like that, anyways. And he's like, you need to stop playing console. Get yourself a PC. PC is the master race of gaming. You don't get to say that.
But it is.
It is.
But
I have both, and it is. PC is better.
Oh, I know. I'm just poor.
I've actually got 3 PlayStation 2s. I don't know how, but I just do it. They all work. I think they all work.
There's really only
My-
one
my-
game I want to play on the PlayStation 2 anymore.
My son actually likes a lot of the games. He's playing War of the Monsters, a Godzilla game, Battlefront 1 and 2, arcade classics. I mean, he's got an Xbox 360, and I've got a PlayStation 4. But he really gets into those 8-bit games. I'm like, are you okay? I mean,
for me, it's the Wii, man. You just can't beat the Wii with your sports, mat and everything. I tell you.
Get your workout.
Yeah, exactly.
You and all the 70-year-olds.
It was a Dance Revolution.
Exactly.
Uh,
It's fun. I just started moving out. You guys talk about consoles. I have like 3 Wii consoles here. I love the Wii. I have such a vast collection of Wii games here. It's crazy. All the Dragon Ball Z.
No, it's
Oh,
a big
yeah.
deal. It was a big deal. I
You
remember.
do the come here, and all that stuff. It was great.
I'm going on like 2 years since I played a video game. I can't find anything out there that I like. I'm spoiled.
I've been playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto of late. It's my anger management courses.
My favorite game of all time to this day is still Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 for Xbox. Great freaking role playing game. Great Star Wars game without the bullcrap. And other than that, I can't play it because I don't have an original Xbox. I got the discs. I got the strategy guides. Love to play it again, but I can't find an original working Xbox. I've seen some of the clones. I might go for like a clone Xbox, maybe Sega Saturn. They're like 4 consoles in one and take up, half the space. And sometimes they come, preloaded with games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Last time I was playing a game, I was playing, I want to say Elder Scrolls, and I'd sit in my big old easy chair. My son's asleep. House is quiet. I got the house to myself. Turn it on, play. Next thing I know, my controller's vibrating in my hand, waking me up, and my character's dead. And that would happen every night for like a month. Sometimes my son would wake up in the morning and go, Dad, you left the PlayStation on all night. I'm like, what? In the chair. Just
My favorite thing to do when Maggie was little, I mean, we just brought Maggie home little. And she was, I told her that she was like no bigger than a roasted chicken, Firebird. And she hates that comment, by the way. It's like, I sit you right here on my chest. I put my controller up like this, so I'm supporting you and have my console like this. And I would just start knocking out the Assassin's Creed games. Or Batman Arkham Asylum games, or whatever.
Yeah. And
she would just the sound of my heartbeat would just keep her asleep. So Kron's like, how were you able to keep her, asleep this long? I just played video games. That's all I was doing. And she's like, that's not fair. I'm like, well, if you want to sit down and play video games with her on your chest, we could try.
Sure, why not?
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm waiting for something to come along that really grabs me. But
So
basically what I want is Traveler on the console, and I know I'm holding out for a long ass time before that ever happens. But maybe one of these days.
I had an old Mega Traveler game on PC way.
Yeah, I think I had it too.
There's
it was kind of awful.
It was pretty bad.
There's a Steam game that kind of reminded me of that. Here, let me bring it up. Let me see if I can remember what it is. It'll be a little bit before I find it. I have like 800 games on my Steam.
Wow.
Well, I've been a Steam member since it started, man. Like,
I believe you.
Not
that's
the same
a long
way.
time.
When I go on Steam, I've got I can't believe all the old stuff I've got on here. I haven't played in forever. Go back and remind myself how many games I've got.
In 2002 to 2003 to 2004, PlayStation 2 came out with the Punisher, the video game, which was more graphic than the Grand Theft Autos at that time period. And I
actually have like 4 or 5 Grand Theft Autos and strategy guides sitting in a box somewhere. Never played them. The Hitman series, crap ton of games. I just can't.
So
Shadow,
here's the game: 3030 Death War: A Space Odyssey. Pick that one up. That's Traveler right there.
3030 Space War.
3030 Death War: A Space Odyssey.
Death War.
Yeah, I'll put a link here in the let's see, store page.
Death War. Huh?
Copy page URL. And
Death War
paste that in
Redux,
here.
a Space
Yeah.
Odyssey, $15.
What was the other
I'll
game?
check that out.
Out of?
Right now, my son's playing. I think it's Hearts of Iron. It's a World War One.
That is a
World-
great game.
He plays the shit out of that game, and he always wins.
That
Always.
is a great game.
And I'm just like, well, one player, dude. You know, good luck getting me, you know, anywhere near your computer except when you're at school, and I don't even want to mess with it because I'll screw something up. And he loves playing that game as Cthulhu, as his not Cthulhu, H.P. Lovecraft as his general for, you know, his entire army. That was one of the first things he did once he got it. I'm like, H.P. Lovecraft as your general? That's pretty bizarre.
Well, I don't know if you guys are on Steam. I know Rick is. They have the number of shame. They tell you how many hours you have in games.
Oh wow!
And
I don't even
yeah.
think about
And
that.
I'm looking at Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries, which I just picked up. I want to say just a little bit over a year ago. I've got 759 hours. Yeah, I have no life. But the worst one, I believe, is where's my Fallout?
Or you've got a
4?
great life.
Here's
Depends on
my
who you ask.
Fallout. My Fallout 4, 3,674.2 hours.
Yeah, my brother's really into Fallout, and he tried to get me into it. I'm like, nope, I'm good.
Mine's heavily modified. Unlike Shauner with his Skyrim, he's got about 400 mods. I've got about the same thing in Fallout 4.
Fallout's like a post-apocalypse, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
retro future post-apocalypse. Yeah.
What, the bomb dropped in 1950, and you got
No, the
But
bomb
it's a
didn't drop in
sci-fi
1950.
kind
It
of-
looks like the 1950s, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
The history diverged after World War II.
like I said, it looked like 1950s, so I just kind of went with it. Shows you
Yeah,
how much
I remember looking at it and thinking, you know, maybe, and that never happened. I just one of these days I'll find something. I was playing No Man's Sky for a while. Mind you, this wasn't from the beginning. This was way later after they put in a bunch of the fixes and
They
the
fixed it.
update. And then, you know, when I started playing, I'm like, this game's great. I don't know what they're talking about, how this is not a good game. This game's great. And it got better and better and better. And then I just stopped playing it because there was like nobody to really talk to in the game. You know, there was no real missions to go on that had anything to do with other people. It just felt like I was in a freaking gigantic, completely empty galaxy with just a few people here and there, and they just stood around, you know, talking a little, and then they would just, you know, it was kind of boring with the communication aspect of it. But I mean, it was a great game if you like tooling around planets and making them your own and terraforming them and building. You know, it was great for all that. But you know, then I got kind of lonely, I guess. And
I mean, wasn't it the selling point of the game? Our game is so massive that you will never bounce into another person.
except that you could bring people into your galaxy and stuff, but there were no the missions had nothing to do really with you know, talking to people and aliens and things like that. You know, I want something a little bit more, you know, interactive and not just, you know, I'm the center of the galaxy.
Have you
know.
you played it recently with the Frontiers add-on and everything to it?
No, it's been over a year since I played. The last add-on I played was with the like the derelict starships. When that came in, you remember that? When all the abandoned freighters or the freighters taken over by biological hazards and things like that, just floating out in the middle of nowhere. That was the last update I played. But I can always go back to it. You know, it's not a pay to play like Elder Scrolls was, and I'll get there. One of these days, I'll just throw it in for the hell of it. But
See, I never thought Elder Scrolls was a pay to play. I'm thinking Skyrim.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls is fully pay to play. Fully.
No.
I mean, you don't have to pay. You can play without. Sorry, Rick, where'd you go, man? You don't have to pay, and you can play, but you won't get very far.
Well, he was getting tired, so.
I hope he didn't pull a Bruce.
No, I think he's just having computer hiccups. Man, Bruce. The cool thing about Bruce with that whole situation, Bruce owns up to. Is like, yeah, I passed out. But
That was pretty fun.
I mean, all joking aside, Bruce does have a fairly physical fucking job compared to most people.
Yeah, and he's got no problem, hitting the sauce, as soon as he has that opportunity, which I can't fault him for. If I ever start drinking again, I'll be right there with him. I used to, drink quite a bit in the old days, but my son, when he was really young, he saw his other family members getting really drunk, and it really scared him. And I'm like, don't worry, I won't do that. And so I don't.
I don't drink when I have my daughter. Unless we're all out for dinner or something and I'm somewhere with a group of people, then I'll probably get a beer. But other than that, I don't drink with my kid around.
Yeah, I don't miss it. I miss the coffee more than anything else. Every once in a while, I'll miss soda, but just water. That's all I drink for the last 6 years, and I don't miss it. And it's probably a lot healthier for me doing that. If I can just give up smoking and potato chips, I'll be good to go.
A sober life is a better life.
I heard that. I refuse to believe it, though.
No. Another old guy I work with. He's God, how old is he now? He's getting pretty close to 62. We both drink, and it's like, boy, we talk about it all the time. It's like, boy, you feel a lot better the next day when you don't you? When you wake up, say, yeah.
Oh, I've done all the dumb things you can do except drinking and driving when it comes to drinking, which pretty much just leaves, poor choices. And I really don't miss it. But man, coffee. If I smell it, I'm just like, oh, miss that.
That reminds me of good times, even when I was a child, smelling coffee when I woke up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It's a comfort.
Mom and Dad are up. Dinner or breakfast is on its way, and it's gonna be good. Yep.
I've always been. I don't mind coffee. I'll drink it. I'll have to dox it up a little bit so I can be able to drink it because I can't drink straight black coffee. Never been able to. But I prefer tea. Honestly, I grew up drinking tea. That's kind of really what I prefer.
Does tea have caffeine?
A little bit. Well, it depends on what kind of tea you drink.
Depends on the tea. It could have a lot of caffeine.
Oh, really? I was always under the impression that it didn't, and that's why I tried a couple of teas, and I just never really appealed to me much. But black coffee, cream, sugar, whatever, just something about it just. But that was my problem, is I was drinking way too much coffee. I mean, way too much. That was my breakfast and lunch literally no solids for a couple of years. I would drink a blender full of mocha frappuccinos, homemade. I mean, the whole blender, that's mine. Wouldn't share it with anybody. And, oh, man, it took a toll. So I went straight to water and freaking love it now. It's weird, too, because, I mean, I drank soda, like 2 liters of soda every day as far back as I can remember, you know, almost 50 years of soda every freaking day.
Oh, yeah.
And no, cold turkey, just.
Yeah, I gave up soda about 17 years ago.
I'm about there. I guess the only reason why I haven't given up soda completely is because I just don't want to deal with the headache.
Yeah, that is a good point. I went through about 2 weeks of it, but I just said, screw it, I'm just going to take aspirin until it's done. And it ran its course, and now nothing hits the spot like water that's almost frozen coming out of your freezer, you know, just like if you shake it, it starts doing that thing where it starts like trying to, you know, solidify, but it's not. And it's as cold as it could be without being ice. So what Rick say? Is he coming back or?
No, he was up pretty late. I was chatting with him on Discord about his Traveler game he's going to run.
I gotta find. I don't know if I can find anybody locally, but I'm gonna have to find somebody to run Traveler for me, so I could just figure that system out.
It's pretty damn easy. It really is.
I guess I'm looking for a storyteller that I'm just not going. I'm going to look at and not say really.
Traveler's super easy. 2d6 plus a couple of modifiers. They roll 8 or better.
Yep. It's really about the mindset of you know, I'm done. My character is done trying to get better at anything. This is it. I'm here. This is what I got to work with. Let's enjoy the ride with what I got.
Right. There's no leveling.
It's kind of like you know, like running, you know, characters that are done, you know, like from a movie. They're not going to change. They're not going to, you know, things may change around them, but their personalities, and maybe not even their personalities, but their core abilities are set in stone for the most part. They can go up. They can get better at skills if they want to spend the time training, et cetera. But they're you know, they're happy with where they are right now, and whatever's going on, that's more important than you know, my next level up, my next, you know, stat bonus, all that crap. It's all about really, you know, being in the moment more than other gaming.
Once you're done with the Traveler character generation, that's your character. Period. The end. That's it. He's done, unless you want to spend years training, basically.
Right, or using, you know, your off time, like on shipboard and stuff. I was reading, you know, you can slowly, you know, build up a skill and get it better. But that, you know, that's
it would take 4 years in classic Traveler to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
A term, basically. Yeah.
Right, for one skill. But I was going by Mongoose from what I was gathering is, you know, you just, it's apparently a little bit faster to get that skill point. And it may be dependent on what level, which it should. You know, going from 4 to 5 should take for freaking ever, whereas getting from 1 to 2 not so much.
Well, people like a lot of skills. That's what Shauner likes about Mongoose Traveler as opposed to Classic Traveler. You know, he doesn't like Classic Traveler because it doesn't give you a lot of skills. And I keep trying to tell him, I said, you don't need a lot of skills. They're pretty broad skills, you know.
Right. Well, the skills themselves really haven't changed from Classic to now, because I've got both. The skill definitions are still pretty much kind of loosely broad in that respect. It's just that Mongoose does give you, like, right off the bat, when you make your character, you get whatever your intelligence modifier is, plus 3 skills at 0 level, which is actually kind of a big deal. You know what I mean? And it means you can do the skill, you just don't get a plus. Whereas if you have a skill 1, you get a +1 on 2d6. It's pretty straightforward. Level 5, you get +5. That means you're pretty damn good. You're like the expert. And then you do. You're breaking up.
Are we still live?
I am, and you are. It looks like Cherry's either having a. No, I can see him blinking. What's up?
That's weird. My audio cut out for a little while there. This is Bluetooth. I think my battery's going dead.
That's not good.
But yeah, you do get a bit more in the way of skills, but really not a lot more. It's 1 per term, 1 if you get a commission, and maybe 1 more for something else. And if you played like Traveler Original, if you used the Mercenary book or the Navy book, the High Guard book, you were getting easily 4, sometimes even more than 4 every 4 years.
Wow.
Skills.
Classic Traveler in the regular the original books assumed you had like all the weapon skills at 0. You weren't bad at anything, any of the guns or knives or anything like that.
Right.
And depending on the planet you came from, you got 0 level skills too, like vac suit and stuff like that.
Sure.
You had a competent character out of the bat. It's just that some people were a lot more specialized.
Right. And like I said, if you used Mercenary or High Guard, you would make the other characters look kind of incompetent.
Yeah, it made original book characters look pretty bad. Yeah.
And fortunately, most of my players didn't really want to do Navy or Mercenary. Maybe 1 in 4 would be like, yeah, actually, I want to go that route. But usually it was something weird like Belter or Merchant or Scout or, one of the other character professions out of the, I think it was Citizens of the Imperium book, like book 4 or something.
Yes, Citizens really opened that up.
Actually, that was one of my favorite books. Really like that book a lot. But yeah, it was so simple. I mean, you could literally play. I mean, if you cut out a lot of stuff out of those books, you're looking at about 20 pages and you got it all. I think Connor would like it once he finds a. Connor likes to run a certain kind of character in AD&D or D&D or Pathfinder or whatever. Kind of. How many times have you run an archer?
I've run an archer a lot of lately, just because I arch in real life, and I just know it's what I'm enjoying playing right now. I've done druid for a while. I've done a fighter rogue for a while. I'm just stuck on archer.
Once you find like the because mind you, in Traveler, your life path is your past. It's not what you are now. You could have been anything, but what you are now is completely up in the air, and whatever you call yourself is what you are. You're not getting anything for it other than opportunities and missions and stuff. You can call yourself Bozo the Clown. It's not gonna, make you Bozo the Clown. You're whatever, whatever you can convince people you are. Yeah, I'm a international playboy. Well, okay, well, that doesn't give you anything other than what you can finagle and fast talk your way in and out of. But your past gives you the skills that you can work with, and it can define you, but it doesn't have to.
I have a buddy that I have a buddy right now is in my Monday campaign, and he has gotten a hold of the old Ninja Turtles game, the old TMT Platinum Premium, and he's going
What
to
do
get a
you
hold of After the Bomb, and he's going to be running that on Monday. So I'm going to be jumping into a Palladium game.
You'll like a lot about a lot of things about it, especially combat, because in Pathfinder in one round or turn, you're very limited. A move, etc. But like for example, if you're like a fighter, and
Yeah.
you get to like third level, you'll be like swinging that sword and rolling to hit like 4 or 5 times, and still being able to do a little bit of movement. And if you max out to like 15th, I've seen characters with like 20 melee attacks in 15 seconds.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you could just swing. But if you want to parry, that takes them an attack. If you want to dodge, that might take them an attack. So it depends on what your fighting style is, and that's loosely describing it. It's not technically exactly like that, but it's pretty close. The alignment system you'll like. Everything else is very similar to what you're used to. Your skills are percentile based, but that's just a different version of doing a D20.
Yeah.
No,
I've done White Wolf D10 system once. I played it for a couple weeks, and I'm like, this is just not for me.
It's weird. Unless it's the genre, I think every game out there is probably really playable if you get the right people.
Oh yeah.
If you get the right group of guys, you can make My Little Pony seem like fun, especially if alcohol is involved.
In Warhammer 40K.
Right. For me, it's really always going to be more about the people than the rules set.
Oh, yeah.
But a good genre that's
Tic-tac-toe is fun if you got the right fucking people.
Hey, and you're playing strip.
Well, that's not. Yeah, but never mind.
One of us had to go there.
It's kind of funny you bring up strip. I don't know if I'm going to go. I don't know. I know I can cover it, but I got invited to a Texas Hold'em card game. And I don't know. I used to play a lot of Texas Hold'em back in college and before I had Maggie. And I just stopped because I just couldn't justify it.
Yeah, I don't gamble. I gambled literally one time in my life. I won, and I never did it again. I spent a week in Vegas in a casino. I didn't drop not one dime gambling, and I've done too many crazy things with my life to get hooked into that as a form of entertainment that I could easily lose everything. Oh no! Sean probably had he was having his technical difficulties. I don't know if he can come back with a different headset or something like that. I hope so. Otherwise, it's just you and me again, and we just turn this off and still chat, and not worry about certain things.
Man alive. So my Tuesday campaign where I'm running for all of the women.
Yeah, why haven't you brought that up?
I don't know. I just haven't really felt like talking. Nothing bad happened. It's just
boring, or not what you were hoping for? Or?
I had a great deal of fun. The ladies had fun. It was just, I don't know. I gotta bow out, guys. Starting to fall asleep. Catch you later. Yeah, take it easy, Jerry.
We'll see you real soon, buddy.
Tell you what, we got an hour 19. We got nobody actually in chat right now. So I'm going to go ahead and end stream and save myself some hours on the old StreamYard. Everybody out there, you all have a good night. If you find yourself watching this later on, drop a line.
Tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff, do the things.
we'll see you guys at Table Breakers. How about that? Everybody else, you have a good night, and see you when we see you.